show do not reflect the views and opinions of our advertisers and management of Pacific Telestations Incorporated. You're watching Buzz with Jess Lujan.
Good evening, Guam. I'm Jess Lujan. Welcome to this edition of The Buzz. Very exciting show tonight. I have my good friend and colleague, the 27th, 28th, and 29th Guam Legislature, Senator Rory Respicio, happens to be the majority leader now, right?
Yeah.
Hey, good evening. How you doing, Rory?
Good evening.
Senator, I mean.
Senator Lujan.
Thank you for again coming on to my show. It's great to have you and to talk to you about this. And congratulations on your recent, election or appointment to chair the Democratic Party of Guam.
Well, the election, together with Narissa Underwood and every single member of every precinct that makes up the Central Executive Committee. So.
Well, tell us about that, because again, you're people are looking for the next generation coming on board to take over parties. What is the vision now of the Democratic Party going into, of course, a very crucial election, the 2014 election? Both we're not having elections for mayors, but definitely gubernatorial election, senatorial election, of course, and also the delegates position. What is the vision of the Democratic Party come 2014?
Well, first, let me thank you for inviting me on your show. And thank you for all the coverage I get on your radio show every morning.
Good, bad, or indifferent.
Whatever the case may be, I'm happy to be here. Something special is really happening to the Democratic Party of Guam. And it started about 5 weeks ago when Dr. Narissa Underwood said yes to running for vice chairman of the party. And her doing that and understanding the significance of that, where you have an Underwood, you certainly have a Gutierrez. Carl Gutierrez is very active with the party, and Congresswoman Berdalio is also very active with the party. We had an announcement several weeks ago where all of them, including former Speaker Joaquin Arreola and Tony Charfres and other political giants in our Democratic Party, came together to make this announcement of a unity. And I think the message going into the 2014 election is a celebration of a unified ticket to recognize that the Democratic Party is alive and well, and we're going to do everything that we can to build this party from the bottom up, and to have a party be able to push candidates that would stand for fairness in government and what it means to be a Democrat and those democratic ideals.
Now, let me ask you this, because 2014 and it hasn't been announced. I mean, there are a lot of speculations out there in regards to who's going to be teaming up with that. I mean, your name is constantly out there as being either running for governor, lieutenant governor, and all that. But are you guys ready to divulge yet who the team, the 2014 Democratic Party team is at this point? Because that's a major thing, and we both know that come this time of the game, basically, if you're, and it doesn't matter what party, if you're an unknown at this point, most especially running for Adelup, okay? If you're unknown, it's already kind of getting late. I mean, if you're a known candidate, maybe you have a little reprieve in that name recognition will be automatic, so it doesn't have to be that far out of the election. But so that kind of tells me then that the fact that we're this close to the election, less than a year away, that whoever the names will be or the team will be are known candidates, are known names.
Or unknown. I mean, when those kinds of decisions are ready to be made, it would be made, and I'm sure that the Democratic Party will be the first to announce here on the Buzz. Hopefully.
Well, we'll invite you to do that. There we go.
But this for certain is that we're extremely excited. The other week, 7 days ago, we had an event at the Hyatt Ballroom, and that event took 8 days to plan. Only 8 days, and we had about about 500 people there. And at one table, you had all those different factors of the Democratic Party surrounded by those who have made a difference in our party throughout the years, as well as those who really are stepping up to say, I'm neither a Democrat or a Republican or independent. I'm someone who's following what's going on, and I'm someone who would support an alternative to the current administration.
Okay.
And so, I'm certainly, as chairman, and Narissa Underwood as vice chair, we're extremely excited, but we take our role very seriously in that the party is going to have to put up a team that's going to represent why our people of Guam and why the voters of Guam should vote for some kind of real change.
Now, let me ask you this, because this is not necessarily true in Guam in regards to, say, Obama, his ordeal at this point, right now with the debacle of the Obamacare at this point, right? Now,
well, depending on whose perspective, right?
I mean, I'm not a supporter of Obama, nor am I a supporter of Obamacare at this point. But what is happening again at this point is some of his party mates, of course, are looking to delay it. It has been delayed a little bit, but the fact remains that if this website, I guess, is not up and going 100%. It's probably going to affect the national elections, and that not necessarily because he's not running anymore. It affect party members running for the Congress and for the Congress. That doesn't necessarily translate to local elections. But do you feel any of that? Because right now, as we're looking, I've had Art Logan on my show here. He says, this Obamacare came without funding to Guam. And if we were going to implement it, I think they're trying to get an exemption for Guam or trying to get funding for Guam. If it's not implemented, or if it's implemented without the funding, it costs us up to about $75 million a year to implement that, which would mean that the insurance companies already told us that could go up, that could raise rates to 55%. So whatever we're paying right now, 55% above that. If that happens, do you think, again, in time for the election, that will affect maybe the Democratic side of the House?
I don't know if they'll translate, and I don't think it'll translate to what's happening locally in terms of local politics.
Sure.
But I could tell you that Congresswoman Berdalio is working hard, and she's aware of the situation. I'm aware of the situation in the legislature as well. We passed a resolution that supported Congresswoman Berdalio's efforts when she wanted to use some of the Section 30 funds as a placeholder to get war reparations, and then we decided, and I decided to support that for purposes of being a placeholder, but that yet we can get some of the compact impact reimbursements that you fought also very hard for when you were a senator, to use some of those reimbursements to try to bring up our match, because right now it's 45, and Guam really got a bad deal.
We can do another show on that on the Section 30 money, because of course a former speaker, Joe T, came out not in support of using that. He says, hey, we're setting a bad precedence here, because if I was a sitting congressman as well back there and said, hey, you guys are going to pay for it yourselves, I'll say, where do I sign? right off the bat.
And then it takes a federal obligation where you're using local funds to remedy a federal obligation, and that was what we presented to her.
The EITC?
Yeah, and then but she was aware of that. But it was important that we support what she was trying to do, but we made it very clear that it shall only be used for purposes of a placeholder. And I was happy that we were able to come together as a legislature and pass a resolution supported by both sides.
Yeah, well, I mean, again,
because Section 30 money is money that's coming.
If I was in the legislature, I wouldn't be in support of that. I'm in support, definitely, of paying that. I'm not in support of looking at an alternative in the sense that we're going to pay what's coming to us and use it as a placeholder, because we know what placeholders, come to in the end. Especially we have no say-so, and I said, okay, they may tell us one thing, and how many times has the Fed told us one thing and have done another?
But but the alternative was to not support what she was doing, and if we never ever get war reparations because the local leaders weren't in line with what she wanted to do nationally.
The one thing as well is now she's using Section 30 again, as a placeholder to try to get what was offered to her anyways in the very beginning, which was basically what McCain had offered. It says, hey, look, we're going to give you this based on only the ones that are living at this point. And she said, it's we want all or nothing. And so McCain said, okay, we'll give you nothing. So now she's going back asking for what McCain had originally offered, but now offering the fact that we're going to pay for it ourselves, or we're going to use this as a placeholder, which basically means, as Joe T has said so eloquently, it says, placeholder, what are you talking about? You're setting a president, the bad president's here. So
I know she was trying to do what she believed the people who elected her to do, and to be a representative. And I think we're at a point where there's no way that you can go past a certain deadline. I believe it was 1990.
Well, I mean, I understand the magical hands that you try to do, but I don't think, as a delegate, non-voting member of Congress, and taking latest powers away from her, that we can do some magical things in Congress.
And Guam did not fare very well in the whole Obamacare, and it's very obvious that that as a territory, we didn't get what some other jurisdictions got, and this is why I keep saying that the crux of our problem really is, although we're proud to be United States citizens, and we're proud to be America in Asia, we have to recognize that a lot of our problems stem from our federal-territorial relationship.
Absolutely. Actually, when we come back from the break, and we're going to take that here pretty soon, we'll talk about that, because you're the oversight chair in the legislative committee, oversight chair of the Commission on Decolonization. We'll talk some of that. But before we do that, I want to touch more on, in the 2014 elections, on the senatorial side. How is it looking? I mean, I'm hearing rumors as well that by virtue of gubernatorial candidates, that they normally come out of the legislature. Very rare does it come out of somewhere else, right? If that's the case, then 2 members from the legislature on the Democratic side will be put up for Adelup. Is that kind of in the works?
I think what's in the works is you see a Democratic Party of Guam. Where the party is absolutely unified, where you have the different factors coming together, and there's evidence of that. So it's not just me saying that we're united. If anybody saw and was there at the event at the hotel this past week, certainly you couldn't leave that event feeling that there's a lot of excitement and energy coming from the Democratic Party, and the party is going to field candidates for Adelup, and the party will field candidates for the legislature, as well as work really hard to make sure that our congressional delegates.
One thing, I did not see him, and maybe they were there, and I just didn't see him when you had I think it was at the legislature. I didn't see the likes of the Mike Phillipses there, and the Rose Ramseys, who are known Democrat, strong leaders.
We were lucky to put that announcement together in a day and a half. And so certainly people also like Senator Guther's, as much as she wanted to be there, she didn't get the information. But at the inaugural ball, Attorney Mike Phillips bought a table.
Okay.
And so certainly we're gonna just welcome whomever and whenever, and that's the only way our party is gonna get stronger. We're the party of inclusion, and all of our party giants have expressed to me that the past is the past.
There we go.
Yeah, and once you realize and celebrate in your mind that the past is the past, and you just have to move forward, I don't think there's. It's going to happen.
There we go.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Commission on Decolonization that you have oversight on, legislative side.
Okay.
Be right back.